What's going on, everybody? I'm Average Joe and welcome to another Average video. Alrighty, today's Average video is going to be an update on MESHCORE and how all of that is working since the last video, which I think was maybe around 2 weeks or so ago. Alright, quick recap in that last video. Basically, we took the repeater off of my roof because it wasn't really working. And then I put it in a tree and it did improve, but it didn't improve like significantly. So then I brought it inside, did a little modification to the repeater enclosure. Basically, I took the solar panel off the mount, slapped it right on the door. And then the shenanigans kind of happened from there. Basically, I bought a little drone delivery system for my drone. It's basically a little hook with a remote on it. I put some fishing line on that and then took the drone up over a tree, the tallest tree that I could get out here. Multiple attempts and we finally got it. I dropped the weight. Once I got the weight, I attached some 550 or paracord onto that and then pulled it back over the other side so then I could have paracord going over the entire thing. Attached my repeater to that and then hoist it all the way up there. And I think we got around 60 to 65 feet up in the air. And I didn't do all that alone. I had some help from my outdoor cats. Anyway, that has been a huge improvement. I keep hearing height is might, and that is no joke. You definitely need some height so you can basically get line of sight to other repeaters or other companion devices out there. If I had one in my hand, I'd show you. The improvement is massive. I can basically send out messages and receive messages like, I'm gonna say like 95% of the time, okay? I don't know if weather has anything to do with it or if it's the way the antenna happens to be facing, because it's not like solid up there. It kind of does move around a little bit, which kind of sucks. But I don't know if the antenna, you know, the way the antenna faces, I don't know if that has an effect or not. But anyway, I would say it's been like a 95% success rate. However, there are those few occasions where I can send out a message and I will look at the MESHCORE analyzer and I won't see it on there. That doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And it's the same thing with some of the messages sent from others. I can see it in the analyzer, but I won't always see it on my phone app. And this person in Elkhorn, Nebraska sent a test, and the MeshBot has not. Oh, look at that, somebody already did it. Getting ready to reply to this guy, and somebody else already did it. Also in this video, what we're going to do is upgrade the tree repeater. That's what I call it now, since that's where it's at. I heard another board from RAK WisBlock that they have a 1-watt booster kit. Basically, you get 1-watt transmission, and I heard a couple people mention it in the Discord. So there I was. I went ahead and went to the RAK website and ordered the 1-watt booster kit right here, and it just showed up. So we're going to flash this with the repeater firmware and see how it does. Really what I'm hoping is if I can not put the repeater up in the tree, and if I could put it on my house and still successfully send and receive messages, that would be really ideal for me, at least, because here in Nebraska we do get a lot of crazy thunderstorms, and some of those are supposed to be here tomorrow. Today's Thursday, tomorrow will be Friday, and those storms are supposed to be here. So it would be really cool if I could just have the repeater right up on my house and still send and receive. Because whenever it's up in the tree and we do get some wind, I mean, the repeater is up there flopping around. One of the branches up there are eventually going to break the antenna off because I can't get up there to mount it, you know, to something solid. So it does kind of float or flop around up there. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do, is try out the RAK WisBlock 1-watt booster kit right here. Just FYI, these are like right at $50 shipped here to the United States. Which way do we open here? And it did take at least, I don't know, at least 2 weeks to get here. On the side, okay. All right, so packaging, you know, looks fairly good. It's wrapped in some foam. Inside the bag, all the little goodies. Here's everything that you get inside the kit. So you're gonna get a little tiny instruction manual. We'll take a look at that in just a second. You're going to get your little tiny LoRa antenna that I probably would never use, but I guess you could. A Bluetooth antenna, IPEX to SMA, so you can add the little tiny antenna right here if you choose to use that. You're going to get a couple JST connectors right here, which is kind of nice. Of course, your little bag of screws and the nut and washer for the SMA connector. And this is going to be the star of the show, which is the 1-watt booster, which is technically this little board right over here. The bottom board is the exact same board that I already have out there, 19007. And then they also changed out this board right here. It is now a 3400 or maybe 3401 once it's mounted to the lower board. I'm not 100% sure on how that works. We still have our Bluetooth connection point right over here. They have moved the LoRa connection from this corner over here and is now over here on the 1-watt booster board right over here. Okay, there is a little tiny jumper on here, and I believe that is for internal battery or power supply connection, or if you're using external, you move it over to the other jumper. And that's actually for this cable right here, which we will flip it over. That actually connects right here. So if you connect right here with the little gray connection point, that is going to be for an external battery connection, okay, or external 5 volts, I should say. So what I'm going to be doing is basically the same thing that I already have, is powering it through the battery port right over here and then charging the batteries, you know, from the solar point right there. And we'll take a look at those instructions real quick. So step 1, of course, is to add all of your antennas so you don't blow anything up. Step 2 is connect your PCB to the computer so you can flash, you know, Meshtastic or MESHCORE. And then for the next step for powering it, you have 2 different options, option A or option B. I'm going to be doing option A with a partial of B, I guess. So option A is how we already have it, is connecting it up to your battery. I'm going to be using 3 18650s that are roughly 2400 milliamp hours if I remember correctly. Anyway, connect the battery to the RAK 19007, which is the bottom board. Otherwise, the 13302 will not be able to reach the 1-watt transmission power. So they basically want you to use a battery if you're using option A, because whenever you transmit at the 1 watt, it kind of sucks out a lot of power, okay? So you need that current from the battery. Or alternatively, you can use a 5-volt power supply with the cables provided. That's going to be our solar panel. That's going to be charging the battery. Or you can use a 5-volt power supply and power the solar input port and the external connection point right there, which is this one right here, okay? And that's on the back of the board. So you have option A or option B. And if you're using option B, I believe you have to move the jumper pins over to the other position. So what that actually means is option A is we're going to connect our battery just like we already are doing, plus our solar panel to keep the battery charged. Or you're going to use a 5-volt power supply. It has to be 5 volts basically. And you're going to flip the board over and you're going to plug in the gray adapter right here, plus use the solar port for 5 volts input. All right, over here at the computer, we will plug her in for the first time, and we're already on the MESHCORE website, which is flasher.meshcore.co.uk. We're gonna scroll down and find it real quick. Here it is, 1-watt booster. So we'll click on that. We're gonna do repeater, and the version right now is 1.13. Okay, so we're going to enter in DFU mode, select it up there, erase flash. We'll hit that one right there. We'll hit OK, and we will hit flash and hope that it works. Oh, we gotta connect it one more time, I guess. Boom, there we go. We are now flashing. Okay, looks like it failed. I'm not sure why. Enter in DFU mode, connect, flash. Okay, so we will close that. I'm going to disconnect it and try again. Power it on, and I heard if you hit the button, the reset button twice, maybe that puts it in that DFU mode. I have no idea, but we will try. Okay, go back down here, 1-watt booster, repeater, erase flash. Okay, so this time it did work. I think. Flashing complete, so we had a success. All right, so we're going to configure it here. Boom, there we go. Okay, so now we're just gonna call this roof repeater. Roof 1 watt repeater for now, at least. Guest password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next is the radio settings. So we will select United States because that's where I'm at. And then here for the mesh, or the Omaha mesh, we want spread factor of 9 and coding rate of 8. That's what everybody uses here. I am going to, okay, we're gonna put you like right here. We'll save those settings, and I don't know if we can send an advert right here or not, but we might have. All right, next thing we gotta do is go outside and pull down the tree repeater, bring it inside so we can swap out this board. All right, here's the big ass tree that we put the tree repeater in. It's gonna be real hard to see up there, but right there in the center of the screen is where it's sitting at right now. It is kind of just flopping around up there, and we don't really have much wind, and that's kind of the problem of the tree repeater and just kind of getting it up there as high as we can. So I'm hoping the 1 watt booster kit will allow me to not put it up here. Where's my little helpers at? There's one. Hi, Malcolm. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, there comes 2 more. You guys gonna help me? I only need help for just a couple of minutes, okay? Yeah. You coming, Spike? Come on, bud. Let's go. You coming? So I've got my paracord just kind of shoved right over here and wrapped around a tree knot right here. So far, it's been holding up pretty good. Oh, you're already helping. Thank you. Yep. Here, you take that and run off to that side. It's kind of nice when you have cats to help you. It keeps a little tension on the cord. I just need a little bit more room. Just need a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. There we go. Thank you. Okay, now hold it right there. Boom, just like that. We have our tree repeater down. And I just had the paracord, ooh, it's kind of sticky. I just had the paracord wrapped through these so it would go up kind of at an angle. If I pull down on one side, it'll tighten the string, and it kind of like straightens it out so you can angle it to a point. Kind of. I'm actually going to put it back on my roof, and we're going to try it from there, because ideally I would want to have it right there because it'll be mounted to something solid. Up here, I mean, I have the height, you know, height is might, but it's real floppy. Honestly, how I have it sitting in here, I guess I didn't really think about this is, yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that, is there's not actually enough room for the board to go sideways. I'm going to have to mount it probably just right on top of the batteries, something like that. Ooh, actually, you know what? Okay, I got a whole parts bin now. So I could swap it out for this little battery tray right here that I printed off. And then I have a bracket in here. Yeah, I might be able to use this one. So this will sit right up on top of it, just like that. All right, cool. I guess we will do that setup right there. Nice. We need to get these batteries out of here. There we go. And we'll also disconnect the solar so it doesn't try to do anything crazy on us. And I'll disconnect the antennas because I'm going to pull this whole thing out of here now, I guess. And if we're doing MESHCORE on a repeater, we technically don't need the Bluetooth because I don't think that's even available. Pull this guy out of here. I might not actually use this one since I don't technically need it. I should be able to just slide this one over a little bit. Yeah, I can just do that. Okay, perfect. And what's cool about these right here, or at least this little bracket, is they line up with those 2 holes right there. Alrighty, it is the very next day, and actually it's kind of a good thing that I waited because there's actually a newer version of MESHCORE, which is version 1.14, that just came available, and there were some like enhancements for this 3400 chip, I think. I don't remember exactly what it said, but I went ahead and flashed on the new version or updated it so we are fully 100% up to date. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is throw all this back into the little solar enclosure. We're going to put it up on the roof and test it out. And I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but I don't actually need this perforated board anymore, although I could use it. I'm not going to. I am going to be using this little bracket right here. It does have a little GPS, you know, thingy right up here that you could put GPS on it, but I don't really need that top part. I just really need the mounting portion right here, and this will actually act like a battery hold down inside the enclosure, so you don't actually need this little perforated board unless you want to use it. I'm gonna try to use it without. Okay, let's get to it. I'm gonna put the battery pack in first, somewhere in the center, and we're going to put our little bracket over that. We're going to put the bracket in first because we won't be able to get to the screws if we put the board on there first. It only uses 3 of the mounting bolts or mounting locations because the board covers up the other one. So now we need to hook up our Bluetooth antenna, which is right up here. Make sure that's on all the way. Regular antenna goes way down here at the bottom. There we go. Just make sure it's on there nice and tight and it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, then we got the battery cables. Oh, hopefully that reaches. Boom. And then the solar panel. Boom, there we go. Everything is mounted, everything is connected, and it should technically be powered on right now. Okay, so all I have to do real quick is put on those little brackets on the back. I just need 2 of them on there. And we can take this up on the roof and mount it and test it out and see if it works. All right, get this all closed up. Gets caught in the way. Boom. Boom. There we go. Now I can slip my band clamps right through there and mount it right to the pole. Nice. All right, this is the best angle you can get again because it's kind of windy. Basically setting it right on here. Alrighty, there we go. Now we're facing south, and I'm hoping we'll be able to reach, well, really anything from here. So since the first video, somebody has put up a repeater just a couple blocks over there, which is up on the hill from me. And they say they use my repeater to get out a lot, so that does help, but it was up there in the tree. But like I said in one of the other videos, there is a repeater over in the northwestern direction from here, so I'm hoping I can reach that one. It'd be really cool if we could reach the one that's over there in Iowa, but I guess we'll find out. So, boom, there we go. The 1-watt RAK booster. Let's go test it out. All right, we'll go ahead and try this out. Connect to this one. So what we'll do first is we'll just send out a test message and see what happens. It just says sent right now. Heard 1, repeat. Like, I wonder if it's just something like on my roof that's like right there that's blocking all the signals. I have no idea. So no reply yet. We'll go to the public channel and we'll just type in test for YouTube 1-watt booster. I probably need to make sure that this one's technically on. Oh, there's heard 2 repeats. I was gonna say I might have to make sure that this is even connected to it. I know sometimes the test bot doesn't always respond. And again, if anybody is on here, ooh, look at that, NC1 sent a lightning bolt. Nice. All right, we'll hit a reply on him and we'll give him one of those. Make sure it goes out. Oh, there's one in Elkhorn. Thank you, Elkhorn. Yeah, I don't know if that one actually went out or not, technically. I'll have to check the analyzer. Okay, we'll check that. I just saw somebody else responded as well. We had an NC1 repeat, Elkhorn, and TDN. And my nice and thank you did go out, so that's good. Okay, cool. I'll just hit a reply on you, one of those, and on TDN. We'll do same thing on him. Alrighty, so this is fan-freaking-tastic. I have the solar repeater just on the roof and not 60 feet in the air. That's kind of good because I was kind of worried about it flopping around up there and maybe potentially breaking off the antenna. And now that it's up here, it's mounted on something solid and it appears to be working, which is fan-freaking-tastic. Okay, so I am getting out some messages and I'm also receiving messages. So what I'm gonna do obviously is let this go for a little bit of time and I will report back. Honestly, it's probably gonna be like 24 hours. It could be longer, I guess we'll see. And then I will report back. So give me just a minute and I'll be right back.
Tomorrow.
Alrighty, it is roughly, I don't know, 30 or so hours later. It's 5:15 the next day on Saturday. And basically every single message that I've sent out, I've seen it on the MESHCORE analyzer. So all of my messages are going out and people are getting them and responding as necessary. And this morning I sent out like 8 messages just because I was so excited that it was working as it should. And it's great because it's mounted right on top of my house and it's not 60 feet up, you know, waving around in a tree. So far, so good. But of course, I am going to keep testing it, at least for like the next week or so. And then I guess if it's a request, I will put it back up in the tree for a test for like a week and see if it gets any better. And the other thing that I was gonna say is you log into the repeater, you go down to, I think it's called like neighborhood zero hop or something like that, and it'll tell you how many repeaters that you basically kind of connect to. And I've got 8 in there right now, which I think is pretty good for where the repeater is sitting at. I don't actually remember what the other one was whenever it was up in the tree. It could have been a little bit more, obviously, because it was a lot higher, but I think 8 is just fine and it's doing exactly what I want. But anyway, I'll let it go for about a week. I will take this one off the roof and then put it up in the tree and see what happens. That's pretty much all I got. Everything is working as I intended. I have backup communications just in case the cell networks go down or whatever the case may be. Alrighty, well that is pretty much all I got. So far, so good. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you put those down in the comments section. If this video was helpful in any way possible, make sure you like that smash button on your way out, and I'll see you on the next. Okay, I'm gonna put this back on the tree and get rid of the excess wire string so we don't have a cat accident. Let go. It's stuck on your, okay. Do this. Oh, you got it. Oh, now you got it. Yes, you're really helping me. Thank you. Thank you for the help. You guys do a really good job. Oh, you're gonna climb up and mess with it over here now. Oh, there's all sorts of ants over here. What's that about? All right, you guys did a great job. I'm going inside. Ooh, there's sun. Gotta charge it up whenever you can for free.